I learned that there are participants from even non-Nepali community, so that I will speak in English, a little bit Nepalbhasa, or sometime mixed with some Kathmandu, something like that. So please forgive me for my what you call confused language. Okay, so shall I start?
Sure.
Okay, so my topic is learning Nepalbhasa can help achieve 2 goals at once. I think this is very common thing. People know they have certain goals to learn a language. So here, what I'm trying to show is 2 goals. That is, first is to be able to converse in Nepalbhasa and understand the culture of Nepali people. So this is a kind of a goal whenever people learn a language. So it's not very special thing, but a common thing. When you learn a language, that means you are trying to understand the culture of those people who speak the language. So in the case of Nepalbhasa, it is spoken by the people called Nepali. Oh, some people call us Newa, Newari, or something like that. I will come to that, okay? So the second goal is to be able to help save Nepalbhasa from endangerment. Nepalbhasa is now endangered. So if you learn Nepalbhasa, you can save this language from endangerment. So as I told you, I will divide my talk into 4 parts. First is I will deal with what is Nepalbhasa, a brief history of it, its script about the Nepal Lipi, what has happened up till now, and then my interest in Nepalbhasa and how I got attracted to it. And number 3 will be a situational conversation in Nepalbhasa. I sent you a document with this third part where we try to learn how to introduce ourselves. Have you got this document, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, so let me continue. So first, I think a lot of people who join today may know about Nepalbhasa, but there are certain things I like to explain. Maybe some of you know the fact already, but some may not. So let me go through this in brief. First, what is Nepalbhasa? Bhasha is language, and Nepal is where this language originated and developed. So it is the language of Nepal. There are different nomenclatures for languages in the world, like English of UK, Japanese of Japan, Hindi of India, Bhasha Malay of Malaysia, and Israeli of Israel. So there are different ways of calling languages. Nepalbhasa has also been called in different names, such as Newars in Prakrit language, Nepalbhasa in Sanskrit, while officially it was called Deshabhasa, Rashtrabhasha, in addition to Nepalbhasa during the Malla rule. You know, the Malla rule period is from 1200 to 1769 AD. So, but it was reverted to Newars by Gorkha rule, which came up from 1769 to 1845. So then Newari, the term Newari used by the Ranas, whose rule existed from 1846 to 1951, and then followed by the Panchayat rule, which is existed from 1961 to 1990, and Newa Bhaye by the majority who call themselves Newa, shortening it from Newar afterwards. So I think you may have some idea of the meanings of this Nepal and Newar. So researchers confirm the Prakrit term Newar and Sanskrit term Nepal are 2 names or 2 words for the same meaning for a country called Nepal in many languages in and outside Nepal. However, as seen above, the Gorkha rule separated the two terms of one meaning into two separate meanings. Nepal for the country and Newar for the natives of Nepal after their invasion in 1769. As the Gorkha rule continues till today under different names, the divided terms of Newar and Nepal imposed by the Gorkha rule continues separating Newar from Nepal. As a result, Nepal is a country while Newar has become a community under Nepal run by the Gorkhas. Although the majority has taken the present situation for granted, the history remains intact. In the context of Nepal as a country, its people are Nepali. Nepal plus Ming means people of Nepal. Its language is Nepalbhasa, its lipi or the script is Nepal lipi, and its sambat or the calendar is called Nepal sambat. And in the context of Newar as a country, it is natural to call its people Newar, its language Nepalbhasa, and so on. However, placing Newar under Nepal or Nepal under Newar will only distort the history because Prakrit Newar and Sanskrit Nepal are two terms for the same meaning. So this is what I think a lot of people should understand. This is what people get confused or have confused. So it is something like Japan, which is called Nihon, the country name, and Nihonjin, Japanese people, Nihongo, language of Japan, etc. They also use the term Nippon alternatively with Nihon, but do not separate it from one another. So here we simply follow the historical fact to call Nepal Bhasha for the language originated in Nepal. So let me go for a very brief history of Nepal Bhasa. Nepal Bhasa is said to have a history of 3 millennia, though the history of habitation in Nepal goes back to a longer period than that. According to Professor Dr. Mrigendra Lal Singh, it is said that the first settlement of population occurred after the water in the Naga Daha was drained off 32,000 years ago. Right? It is written in a book called Nepali by Dr. Mrigendra Lal Singh. Nepal Bhasa is a language spoken both in Royal Court of Nepal and by the people of Nepal known as Nepali. So actually the people of Nepal originally called Nepali, and it is in Nepal Bhasha. The written words of Nepal Bhasa have been traced from the inscriptions during the Lichavi rule that existed from 400 to 750 AD. Scholars have recognized many non-Sanskrit words as earlier forms of Nepal Bhasha words. And by Malla period, Nepal Bhasa replaced Sanskrit and became the state language. It was the language of education, administration, and the media. By the year 1380, Nepal enacted Nyaya Vikasini, a complete law to rule the country under an executive and judiciary system. This is actually a law which is said to be 500 years older than the Napoleon Code, which is said to be the first law in the world. But if you go through this Nyaya, you will see that the law in Nepal has been enacted 500 years ago, before the so-called Napoleon law. Thousands of manuscripts on diverse subjects from holy scriptures, law, medical sciences to arts were written in Nepal Bhasha during Malla rule. So it was also the language of diplomacy. MOU signed in Nepal Bhasha between the states of Tibet and Nepal trace such events. Although it is said that thousands of manuscripts had been destroyed by some uninformed rulers in the past, Bir Samshir Rana deserves credit for preserving his collection, then later deposited in the government-run National Archives of Nepal in the city of Yen, which some people call Kathmandu. So there is also a privately run library known as Asa Sapukuti in the inner part of the Yen city. It has also preserved over 1,000 handwritten manuscripts. They are both open to public. However, a common problem these worthy institutions are facing today is the lack of its users, because the users simply don't have the knowledge of Nepal Lipi, which is the script these manuscripts are written in. I recall an officer sharing with me an incident where an officer burned bundles of such manuscripts, saying that those unused manuscripts were just occupying the space at the National Archives in Yen. So let's go to Nepal script in short. It is said that there are 7,000 languages in the world, but not many languages have their own scripts. This is mostly because some languages did not develop to be written languages, but Nepalbhasa is known to have written at least in 3 kinds of scripts, though some have claimed to have more than 12 kinds of scripts used to write Nepalbhasa. It is not only Nepalbhasa, but Khas Bhasha, Sanskrit, Pali, Meitei languages have been written in Nepal Lipi. Scholars have found texts in Nepal Lipi and its 2 other variant fonts, such as Ranjana and Golomala. So Golomala is also mixed by some people calling it Bhujing Mala. Dr. Janaklal Vaidya, who did research on these manuscripts, have compiled 2 volumes of descriptive catalogs of selected manuscripts preserved at both national and ASA archives, attest to the above fact. The catalogs also disclose that most of the materials used for general purpose were written in original Nepal Lipi, while its artistic Ranjana font was used to write scriptures belonging to both religions of Buddhism and Hinduism, while some royal notices and selected documents were written in Golomala fonts. It also confirms a claim of mine that Nepal has developed its own distinct religious thought of Vajrayana, combining the traditions of Buddhism and Hinduism together. So I can elaborate on this matter on a different occasion. So having said all these values of Nepal Bhasha and its script, Nepal Lipi, Nepal Bhasha had to undergo an unprecedented oppression of the new rulers since 1769 AD. By 1920s, the Rana government banned the use of Nepal Bhasha and nullified all the documents written in Nepal Bhasha. The rulers punished those who spoke Nepal Bhasha outside their homes and even by telephone. It is said that almost all lands belonging to the Nepali were confiscated because their deeds were written in Nepal Bhasha. As a result, Nepal Bhasha became a definitely endangered language now in the land of its own origination. By 2003, a report prepared by UNESCO has described the situation about Nepal Bhasha. There is a history of 250-year-long oppression by the new rulers and resistance by the victims. Let me find another occasion to elaborate on this matter too. Now, let me tell you in short how I became involved in learning and teaching Nepal Bhasha in Nepal Lipi. So it was in 1980s, I returned to Nepal after a decade of study in Sri Lanka. I found a typed on copy of a handwritten literary magazine in Nepal Lipi to my excitement for the first time in a Nepalbhasa newspaper stand in Dagu Bahayeng. So it was known as Pauba. It contained articles, short stories, poems, and news. Everything was written in Nepalbhasa with its own script, Nepal Lipi. I was thrilled to see them, but I found I can hardly read any of these words. Luckily, I also found a Prachalit Nepal Lipiya Varnamala, a book of Nepal Lipi alphabets. I took them to my home in Sri Lanka and started learning my own language in its own script for the first time in my life while living in a foreign land. I was able to put my Nepal Lipi knowledge into real practice only after 3 years. That was in 1983 when I found myself running a Nepalbhasa program once a week and publishing the first number of Sunday's magazine in both Nepalbhasa and Khasbhasa, claiming myself an editor and publisher of this simply 4-page pamphlet. I can't find this pamphlet with me now because it is a history now, but an enthusiastic listener to this Sri Lanka Radio Nepalbhasa Jazo surprised me by uploading one of my programs on Facebook. So he is none but Mr. Shanta Raj Sakya, who became famous for his storytelling post on Facebook. So having run Radio Sri Lanka Nepalbhasa Jazo for 5 years, I went traveling in between Nepal and Singapore from time to time until I left for Japan at the latter part of 1990. It was a kind of an unexpected blessing to devote my extra time to learn Nepalbhasa, reading and writing Nepalbhasa from 1980 to 1990. So within these 2 years, actually, I got the chance of learning more Nepalbhasa articles, the language itself, and practice Nepal Lipi. So I think you may be interested in rather learning about the language and Lipi rather than talking about myself. So let's go to part 3, where I have sent you the document about situational conversation in Nepalbhasa. If you have these documents with you, if you can open it, please open it.
So there is only this self-introduction. So do you mean that, sir?
Okay, do you have this document?
Self-introduction in Nepal Bhasa.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not sure how many of you can read these letters because it's different from Devanagari. But I think if you really take a good look at them, they are not very different from Devanagari. So, but let me read out this for you. I have also written the readings of this Nepal Lipi under these words. Can you see this? All right, so
Yes, sir.
this
Are you
is,
trying to share your screen or?
yes. Oh, no, I'm not sharing it. Do you see mine?
Oh
Or you
no,
have the documents?
they have the documents, but if you would
Okay.
like to share your screen, you can just.
Oh, let me see. How do you do that? Sharing. Sharing.
I have
Let me
enabled
see.
screen. There should be a screen sharing option in the.
Yeah, I'm not very good there. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can share this. Nice. Okay. Sankasha.
Suvarna sir, I think one of our students has shared his screen, so you can use that if you're having.
Is it?
He's one of the students has.
Let me see. Give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. Let's see whether it works here. Okay. Yes. This needs passwords and all. Okay. So, can you share the document while I read it? So I will read English part. You will find the English part, and then followed by the Nepali part. Is it clear? Okay. Do you all see this paper? Self-introduction. So self-introduction is actually Jigu Mahashika. Jigu Mahashika, as written in the Roman letters under these Nepal Bhasha words. Jigu Mahashika. Ji means I. Jigu means my. Mahashika means introduction. Okay. Can you try say Jigu Mahashika? I think this is not that difficult for you all. I think if there are non-Nepal Bhasa speakers, I think it will be a little bit difficult. I wondered what happened to our friends from New Delhi, and I see a friend from West Bengal, but I don't see a friend from New Delhi. Is he there? No, right? Okay. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say. Hello?
I'm here, sir.
You are there, right? Okay. So what I'm trying to show is how to introduce yourself. So in English, we say self-introduction, and in Nepal Bhasa, we say Jigu Mashika, Mashika, okay? So then if you want to say, my name is Suwarn Vajracharya, this is my name. So let me introduce this introduction while introducing myself. So it's like, what you call achieving 2 goals at once, okay? So you can replace my name with yours. You can say Jiguna Suwarn Vajracharya Ka, or then you can say Jiguna Sadicha Srestha Ka, like that, okay? So Jigu means my, Na is name. It's simple, right? And then if you want to say that I live in some city in some country. So in my case, I live in Naha city in Okinawa, Japan. So Okinawa is a kind of a state of Japan and the Japanese country. So the Naha city is the kind of a main city of Okinawa state. So I live in Naha city in Okinawa, Japan. To say this, Ji, Japane Okinawa Pradesh ya Naha Nigale Chona Chona. Naha means name of the city. Nigala means city. I'm not sure how many of our friends use Nigala. Nigala means some of our friends call it Soniga, but they never call it Sonigala. So actually the original term is Nigala. It is shortened as Niga. So like Sonigala means 3 cities of Kathmandu Valley. That is Yen, Yellow, Copper. So these 3 cities together is called Soniga by people in Nepal, right? So this is called, it should be called Sonigala when you write, but when you say, it's okay to call Soniga. So here, Ji Japane, so you have to go Naha Nigala, all this according to the Nepalese way. Ji Japane Okinawa Pradesya Naha Nigale Tonatona. Tonatona means it's a kind of a present continuous term in Nepalbhasa, but it's present in English. So there is a little bit difference like this, right? So you have to say it, Ji Japane Okinawa Pradesya Naha Nigale Tonatona. If you want to say that I live in Kathmandu in Nepal, then you can say Ji Nepale Yen. Yen is the term for Kathmandu in Nepalbhasa. So Ji Yen Tona Tona. Or if you live in Darjeeling, you can say Ji Darjeeling Ye Tona Tona. And then let's go to introduce yourself, what you do. Ji to say I work as a foreign language consultant. So this is my post, right? This is what I do here in Japan. I work as a foreign language consultant. So here, it's a Nepalbhasa way. You have to say my work. I work, not I work, but you have to say my work is Madhesbhasa. Yeah, Madhes means foreign language. But in Nepal, a lot of people call it Videshi Bhasa. Videshi Bhasa is not Nepal Bhasa word. Videshi Bhasa is Khas, Hindi, and other words. So Nepal Bhasa, we have our own words called Madesa. Desa means country, Madesa means foreign. So Madesa Bhasa means foreign language. Okay. So Madhes Bhasa Bare about. Salla means give advice. Bigu, Salla Bigu. So my work is giving advice about foreign language. So this is how it comes when you use it in Nepal Bhasha, meaning I work as a foreign language consultant. Okay, before we go beyond, is there anybody, is it clear? Anybody has any question? Oh, well, there's a part 4. I'm going to take your questions, but if there is a question, please let me know. So Jiguja means my work. Madhes Bhasa means foreign language. Bare about. Salla Bigu is giving advice. So in English, it is I work as a foreign language consultant. Then giving a little more explanation of it is a little bit long, but it's not easy, not difficult. So here, I becomes Jin. Jin is translated into literal English as by me. Particularly Biskayana. Angrej Bhasa Bonkegu, or you call it English Bhasa Bonkegu. Bonkegu means teaching. So I particularly teach English language. Bonkegu je Salabigu. Advice, teaching. I tell them how to teach. So it's a kind of, I teach teaching method. Je Salabigu, give advice. And, wa means and. Nepal Bhasha Khasa Bhasa wa Sinhala Bhaya Hilagu Jayana. So this means I do translation and interpretations of Nepalbhasa, Kathmandu, and even Sinhala Bhasa. So Sinhala is the language of Sri Lanka. Because I know the language, I am given this type of work. So there I need to advise them about this language and by even translating. So the terms like Sinhala Bhasa, Nepalbhasa, Kathmandu are all known to all of you. And the difficult word may be just Bhaye Hilegu. Bhaye Hilegu means interpretation. There's no other word for translate and interpretation different. So we say both. Bhaye Hilegu means interpretation and also translations. Okay, then my hobbies. So if you want to tell about your hobbies, say my hobbies are reading and writing poems and listening to Nepalbhasa songs and ghazals. I think you know ghazals very well because it's very popular. So my hobbies is jigu laja. Laja means lai bale yaguja. Work, something done when we are free. So this word is also not very common in Nepal, but it is there. Only thing is we are not using it. So let's use it. So jigu laja, that means my hobbies are. Chinaka means poems. Bonegu means reading. So reading poems, wa and choegu. Chinaka, bonegu, wa choegu means reading poem and writing. So Napa means with or together. Nepalbhasa me. Nepalbhasa me means Nepalbhasa songs. Wa means and. Ghazal nyenegu. Nyenegu means listening. And this word nyenegu may also be very uncommon to most of you because some people write in nyenegu, half N Y A nyenegu. But there is a word we call it nye, just because we have the word nye. I think I have used this nyenegu means listening. Okay, and then if you want to add a little more, what do you call it, detail about you, then you can say that I came to Japan in September 1990. So I means G, San 1990 means 1990, the means year, then in the year. September means in September. Japane waya, I came to Japan. Then, so what I did in Japan, having come to Japan. So first, I went to a graduate school in Niigata. Niigata is an area name. It is also kind of a state in Japan. So I was in Niigata state. So I will say, Dakale Napa. Dakale Napa means first. Master Bonegu. To call graduate schools, I don't know the word actually, graduate schools. So I said university where you can study masters. So Haling Bonikuti. Bonikuti is college or school. So if you call Haling Bonikuti means it is the university. It is a term for university. So Dakle Napa, first of all, Master Bonegu. Halim Bonikuti Wana. Wana means I studied. That means I went. Okay? I studied at university where I can study masters. That means graduate school. Then you can say what you did. So I said I completed my master's in international relations there. So there means honor, jin, I, desam, desya, sapu, yabare. So you can call it international relations if you're not comfortable finding the real Nepalbhasa word. So Nepalbhasa word is desam, des means international. Sapu means relations. So I studied to say, I studied international relations. You can say ana jin desan desya sapuya bare master bona. That means I did my masters in international relations. So you can change the word Desendesia Sapu to another subject like say economics. Economics, I think we use very common words of South Asia, Artha Sastra. Okay, so we can say Ji Anaji Artha Sastra Bare Master Bona. That means I completed my master's in economics. Then after that, I worked for an English newspaper in Tokyo for 5 years. So if you want to say what work you did, you can use this phrase and sentences, changing the way you like. So you can change the work you do, and you can change the place you work, and also the year. Okay. So Analipa means after that, I worked G, Jayana. That is, English newspaper is called English Nipo. English, Nipo. Nipo becomes, if you want to say for an English newspaper, it becomes Nipati. So then Tokyo Ta Nigale means Tokyo Municipal City. It is the biggest city in Japan, so we call it Nigala city. Ta Nigala means like Mahanagar in Nepal, Kathmandu Mahanagar. You call Kathmandu Nagar Palika, Mahanagar Palika in Nepalbhasa as Ye Ta Nigala. But very few people know this term, I think. They just use non-Nepal Bhasha term, calling it Kathmandu Nagarpalika. So you can blame because people don't know about it. So I think if you can use it, people will understand it. And then Nyada means 5 years. Taka Jayana. That means I worked there for 5 years. Okay, I think. And then then I joined the university to teach English and cross-cultural communication. So after 5 years, I went to a university. I was recruited to be a teacher at a university where I taught cross-English and cross-cultural communication. So to say this, you can say then, no, English, what? Cross-cultural communication. Now, this is a problem I have. See, it's not easy to find a proper word in Nepalbhasa for this term, cross-cultural communication. So in that case, you can just use cross-cultural communication. So Bonketa means to teach. Chagu Hali Bonikuti is university. Jayana, that means I worked for a university. Right? Okay, next. Then after 12 years, I moved to an investor relations company to become an editor. So, because of my relations with my friends and also I have to change my job. A friend in an investor relations company asked me to come and help him. So I left the university to join his company. So, Jin Nida Lipa after 12 years. La Taipinigu Swapu company. This may be very strange for you, but it is the term for investor relations in Nepalbhasa. Okay, La means investments, Taipinigu investor, Swapu means relations, company's company. Sama Paujawa Jayana. So Paujawa means the editor, one of the editors. So we had 3 editors. So I was kind of a what do you call main editor, where I edit all those writings coming to our company. So you can say Pau Java Jayana. Pau means Patrika, Java means the holder or the editor. I remember this word when I was a small boy in Nepal, but lately I don't see these words. But I think if you use this, it will be popular again. Then, okay, then afterwards, return to a graduate school in Tsukuba for a doctoral degree after 5 years. So I don't know, I loved studying and doing writing, research, and also I left the job after 5 years and then joined the university again. So Nyada means 5 years. Nyada ja lipa, Yayana Nyada lipa. After 5 years, PhD lagi. Hanang hali bonukuti lihawana. Lihawana means returned. I returned to the university to do a doctoral degree. So PhD is PhD, although we call it Vidyavaradi and all. Vidyavaradi is actually, non-Nepal Bhasha word, but you can still use it if you like to use Vidyavaradi. Okay, then I moved to present Naha, Naha city in 2011. Anu Lipa, Sun, you call it, Dihajarigar or something like that, but we have Nepal Bhasa call it. Nidowa Chinchasadang, Nidowa Chinchasadang, then Naha Nigale Wayaguzula, Naha city, Wayaguzula, I came. That means then I moved to Naha city in 2011. Okay, this is all. Thank you very much. So next part is the fourth part where I can take your questions. Thank you. Suhai.
Suwarn, sir. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask him.
Suvarna sir, thank you
Yes.
for your presentation. Actually, I wanted to, like, you mentioned that while in Sri Lanka, you came upon a Nepal Bhasa paper. Actually, I was wondering, how did Nepal Bhasa reach Sri Lanka?
Oh, well, I started Nepal Bhasha program over the Radio Sri Lanka, which is called Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And well, I started a small 4-page pamphlet type of kind of a newspaper. You don't need to call it newspaper, but a pamphlet where news is written about Radio Sri Lanka's Nepal Bhasha program schedule, and a short article about Nepal Bhasa, and also how to learn Nepal Lipi. So that's how we started it. So, but this is not for the people of Sri Lanka, but people who listen to my program. So, and in Sri Lanka, we have also Nepalese living there. So I send them by post, and I send them by post to Nepal and even India. There are some people in India who also was listening. I think you may be knowing about this because Sri Lankan radio Hindi service is very popular in Nepal and India. So in that Hindi service, we started this Nepali program together with Nepal Bhasha program. So it's more for people who listen to the radio Sri Lanka, and its Nepal Bhasha program, and even Nepali program. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, during in the questionnaire, you had asked if we are willing to help preserve Nepal Bhasha.
Yes.
So I wanted to understand how can we do it.
Okay.
What are
Well,
the options, and what is the scenario like? How can we contribute?
okay. Well, there are so many ways of helping to save a language. You know what? Nepalbhasa was developed not within 1 or 2 days or year or two. To become a full-fledged language, Nepalbhasa took 100 years. You see, Nepalbhasa became a full-fledged language in between 1300 and 1400. See, although Nepal Bhasa has been spoken by Nepali people some long time ago, but it was developed as a written language between 1300 and 1400. So it took 100 years to become a full language, right? So, but this very language is now dying. It is simply because we don't use it. So there is a saying in English, use it or lose it. This applies to everything. If you have a radio, if you have anything, if you don't use it, it dies away, it decays. So same thing has happened to Nepal Bhasha too, because we were not using it. We had to use Khas Bhasa because of our government policies. And we were not able to develop our Nepal Lipi because we didn't have facilities for that, right? So the language is dying. But thanks to many individual efforts and group efforts, Nepal Lipi has now become a Unicode letter. So it is now usable on computers, on mobile, on iPad, on Android, everything. But there are some problems because it is spoken by a small number of people. Companies like Google are not very interested to let us use it. But if we use it, they will also come to open ways for us to use our Nepal Lipi. Now, what we can do is, if you go to Mozilla, you see, you can open Nepal Lipi on that what you call computer, right? The site. So we will see my nepallipi.com without any problem on all these internet connected computers, iPad, mobiles, everything, right? So how you can help to revive means, first thing is to use. So you should be able to use Nepal Lipi freely. So it's not that difficult. I took only 7 weeks to learn Nepal Lipi. I remember 7 weeks, not more than that, right? So now I have also provided Nepal Lipi, yes, the world's first game. There, if you go there, you will see how to first connect your computer into Nepal Lipi fonts. So if you go to say down, there is an article down, go down, go down, and further down. Okay, see, install Nepal. Okay, come down. Okay, so you will see, this is for the mobile phone, Nepal Lipi keyboard application, right? And then if you open this, okay, this is the place, install Nepal Lipi. Can you come down? Oh no, go up. About Nepal Lipi keyboard application. Can you go up a little bit? Yeah, yeah, just over Nepal Lipi keyboard application. Nepal Lipi keyboard application is for the mobile, Android. And then you will see install Nepal Lipi on your PC, iPad, and mobile phone. So if you open this link, how to install Nepal Lipi keyboard on your PC, you can see the instructions given to install Nepal Lipi on computers, desktop, iPad, tablet, mobile, everything, right? But now, we have not the easiest way of downloading these things. If you really want to write Nepal Lipi on computer, send me a message. I will send you the latest technology link, which is much more easier than what I have put on this site. Okay, so how to help is first to learn, read and write. You don't have to know the words, but you have to know how to write the words. If you know how to write the words, then it means you can read the words, so that you can write words. So then first thing is you have to publicize. You have to teach friends. You have to make users more numbers, right? You see? So that is one way of helping, right? When we have more and more people using Nepal Lipi, reading and writing, then it becomes one of the what you call well-known language. When that becomes like that, even the companies like Yahoo, Microsoft, Apple, all will get attracted to us, and they will make programs for us without even asking them. You see? So that is the most important thing is to use. First step is to learn and use it. So the other matters, other things are that if you are a technology expert, then you can first help. One thing is the fonts. We have 3 fonts now, but this one of the fonts is beautiful, but then 2 other fonts are not very developed well. So if you can make fonts, so it will be a great job to help Nepal Lipi publicize, right? So you know the people like beautiful letters, right? Even you see, because Ranjana is beautiful letter than the Nepal Lipi, people in Nepal confuse that Ranjana is our letters, not Nepal Lipi. And so people get attracted to Ranjana Lipi, although they cannot write it, right? They just make it a kind of a show off and try to learn Ranjana than Nepal Lipi, which is actually the original Nepal Lipi. So I want, if any of our friends can do it, we should design another Nepal Lipi font with some beautification. So I have the plans, but I need somebody to help this work on technology. So if any of us know how to develop fonts, please contact me. I can ask you how to do it, and I can request you how to arrange this. Oh, Resham Tiwari, okay, thank you very much. I'll be very happy to send you one of my writings about how to make new design of Nepal Lipi. No. So, Resham ji atana. I'm also very glad, you see, even non-Nepalbhasa speakers learning Nepal Lipi. You see, even when I was a small boy, you know, there was there was not a friend, but I found in Facebook one Adhikari who spoke Nepal Bhasha well and wrote in Nepal Bhasha, but it was in Devanagari at that time. So I think several people who speak Nepal Bhasha, though it is not their native language. I know even some our friends from Madhes, they also speak Nepal Bhasha. So thank you, Mr. Resham, for learning our language and helping.
Sir.
Yes.
So Nandita here. Just in continuation with the question that Anupam posed to you about the Lipi and all, right? And your talk on the Lipi, learning the Lipi.
Yes.
What I found was like, I have been trying to learn the language for a very long time, but then there was no access to it. So like, you know, easy accessibility to learning the language, like, you know, maybe have online sources and all. Especially because, you know, the annotations are different, the pronunciations are very different. So even if I can read it, maybe I'm not, the sound that I'm making, it's not proper, right? words and all, I'm not telling out properly. So, you know, like an online source of maybe a dictionary, or, you know, some kind of an app which would help, because learning other languages is very easy
Yeah.
because there are sources, materials are there.
Oh, yes.
So, so that could also be very helpful.
Oh, okay. Good idea. Actually, you know, we are on contact relationship with Google, where we produce Nepalbhasa translation, and it is read by a Nepalbhasa speaker. So this has not come to a kind of a conclusion yet, but I think we should be able to do it. Not very soon, but it takes time. But there's another way of doing it. Now I have put a collections of Nepal Bhasha words on Facebook and my websites. But only thing is, if we can pronounce it, it also a way of learning how to pronounce these words. So let me see how we can think of. But only thing is now I'll be very happy if somebody can do the pronouncing. You see, well, for those who want to learn how to pronounce. So I hope through this particular program, who were listening, or if somebody listened to this, I shall be very grateful if somebody can help us pronouncing these words. Well, we have lots of materials. The problem is that the number of people helping. You see, I have some friends, they are very helpful, but the problem is they say something, but they cannot do it because they are involved in other works. Because we have not been able to do it as a paying job yet. All my work for the past 20 years, I have done it spending my own money, right? So the problem is I'm trying to develop it to a system where I can reward them. So actually, even these websites, actually, for those who made these websites, so they have been rewarded, you see. The problem is that we are not an organization where we can earn and pay them. But I think, well, it might be a day where we can come and can pay them better. So I know some designers already there in Nepal, but the problem is we have not been able to give them the amount of money they ask for it. So that's why I have been looking for people who will help us voluntarily. So maybe I think one day it will happen. Thank you for the idea.
Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, please don't be shy to ask any questions. You can use your Nepal Bhasha if you like, or if you can, or if you want to try it. So as I said earlier, use it or lose it means if you use it, you will improve it. And if you don't use it, you will forget it. This is what has happened. Now, when I'm a teacher English, and then you see Japanese people know they have learned English for 12 years from grade 3 to universities, you see, but they can speak because they don't use it. They understand what we say, but they can't use it because they don't use it. So this practice is very, very important. So even you might understand, you see, the way I speak is different from what some of you may speak. This is because the place we live and the words that we hear sometimes differ from one another. So you don't need to be shy to talk. Okay, if you have no questions, may I suggest you something? Why not all of you introduce yourself in just 2-3 sentences? I know most of you speak Nepal Bhasha. Why not we use it in Nepal Bhasha? So this is a good start for practicing.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah, so why not? Please use. So I don't know yet. You see, I have not seen your, I don't see your photos. So even at least if you let me hear your voice and your name and voice, I'll be very happy to get to know you.
Okay, let's start with Anurup then.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please open your camera.
Yes, sir. Jiguna Anurup Gulabani Kha. Ji Jane Patan Kathmandu. Kathmandu was something else. Yen Ji Jane
Yes.
Patan Yen.
It's lovely.
Chwana Chwana. Works. Then Jigu Je HR Slahaviku Kha. G how do I say I do recruiting. Anyway, thank you, Subha.
Oh, Yoko Yoko Subha. This is a great start. Ekdam bala good start. Yoko Yoko Subha.
Okay, next, Arya.
Jozolapa, Jiguna Arya Prasaiko, Ji Sanepai Tswana Tswana,
Oh.
Ji Buona Tswana Kho. I mean, Buona Tswana. Ani I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
No, don't say what you know. Don't worry about mistakes. Ji Bonatana. Ji blank Bonatana. You can fill the blank.
Jigu Laja
Jigu Laja.
Sofu Bone.
Oh, Safu Bonegu, yes.
Yeah.
Jigu Laja Safu Bonegu.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
Yoko Yoko Subha.
Subha.
Okay, next, Jeevan.
Jiguna Jivan Sreshta Kha. Ji Eya Anam Nagare E Bona Chona Chona. Jigujia Senami Kha. Ji Biskayana Science Bonkegu. Jigu Laja no Safu Bonegu. Subha.
Perfect. Ekdam bala. Ekdam bala. That's perfect. You see. Yokko yokko subha.
Okay, next, Subha Jivan. Next, Kripa.
Dozolapa.
Dodolapa. Say this, huh? Jiguna.
I think there's some internet problem.
I see, I see, okay.
Okay.
But I can hear
Jiguna
you.
Kripa Kha.
G blank chana chana.
Okay, maybe we can come back to Kripa later.
Yeah,
For-
no problem. Yes, yes.
So next, Kumar.
Jojolapa.
Dodolapa.
Jiguna Kumar Kha. Ji Dhumbarahi. Chona chona. Jigu Jia Engineer Kha. Jigu Lajia Nepal Bhasa Me Nyenegu.
Oh.
Subha.
Oh, ekdam bala, taskam bala, taskam bala. That is perfect. So you just need to use it, right?
Subha. Okay,
Okay,
now
good. Thank you.
next we have Nandita.
Jojolapa.
Jojalapa.
Jiguna Nandita Pradhan Kha. G Darjeeling ya. Darjeeling ye what chana, what is it? Wana chana chana. Chana. I'm a teacher. Jigu. Senami. Artha Shastra. Vani. Big. What is that? Teaching?
Teaching. Shenegu. Shenegu.
Telugu. Subha.
Jiguja Artha Shastra Shenegu. That means I teach economics, or my work is teaching economics. Yuko yuko subha. That's a good start, yes.
Subha Nandita. Next we have Resham.
Jojolapa.
Jojalapa.
Jiguna Resam Tiwari Kha. Jiche Balaji Kha. Jija 3D animator Kha. Jigula classical painting. Subha.
Oh, exam bala, taskam bala, taskam bala. That's beautiful. You see, learning language which you can use it. Yes. Okay. Bisundai.
I think we were left with Kripa, right? Is Kripa there? If you would like to introduce.
You like to continue? Yes, yes, please.
Yes, I'm here. Dozolapa. Jiguna Kripa Shrestha Kha. Ji Yole Kupondole Chona Chona. Jigu Jia 지구자 wakil kha. 지구ल्या자 라자 सफु बोनेको व मे नेनेगु ख super.
Oh, Taskambala. So you see, you started, right? Telling something in Nepalbhasa. Yes, that's very good. Ekdam Taskambala.
Super. Can I introduce myself as well? Nepalbhasa.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Nepal Nepal is a jigu che nokipot ka.
Let's camera on.
Okay, sorry. Jojolapa sakasita jiguna sadicha shreshta kha. Nepal is a jigu che nokipote kha. Ajai ji Hawaii chana Hawaii United States chana. Thana ji economics se PhD bona chana. First year khaji. Yoko suba.
Yoko suba.
Okay, suba Vishnu sir chi to tejo.
Saksita Jodalapa. So in the Naibu Nindata. Ditong Tano Dalo Avas Unuka. Juja do the Nepal station. Ekha Muja. Tandai be passion that I did is not a like so Libyan sending, wake up in the Lippy perfect do. Nepal Lippy wake up some saw. I think a good slide candela, wake up some Madame Bonfour. Nepal Lippy, I didn't good. Nepal has a shen to know her. Nepal Lippy to know her.
Oh.
Again, wake up something, Nepal Lippy, wake up a cheap Pavitra Kasana, wake up the Nepal Lippy Shenduka. Again, they wake up in Nepal Lippy Saklensa. Dimson to Songu no the Putaka, Nepal Segopi, if a Suruni Nepal Lippy. Telesina we do it. Grishan Seklo wake up people Nepal Lippy is a preliminary class do Kana. And happy new group on the Balge Nevarasa, Salmon Noeu, or two, only wake up in talent you do, wake up some Balaway, the Popman's bed you do. Jira Gunter as do at HGP Palme Bisano, Marcus Secati, a wake up some of the Nepal Saturday, you other would Gan Kaidu Diasiana. A shoot and a go no to Niana, wake up something you put in a pay who not Diasana. Swear.
Yoko suba. Thongi Paspino, Napaya Paspino, Tani, Ekdam Bagamaniga, Dayu Tani, Metrute, Health Class, Suruzu, Toskambana Pani. You guys are really lucky to have learned from our teacher. Nepal Jiu Tentarunge Samasya Sudata, Bonki Pi no more, Boni Pi no more. Tau de se, Tau Ba, Moseo Kudu, Tauteni Tarunge, do like in a Duka. Tara, Bisundai Pi, Divli, I get two stop of good together. 지구 때는 욕단이 바로 차이니 지라더니 our ji samparka nablelu manga bisandai chiantonadi tumchi kitab toidi ko dike kitab to chikupini we kripa ji bisauni our today ji to jaga sundar malla skule mala Nepal bhasa kitab deka bila mala we aya kitab sa al khani dimsa ni jaga sundar malla ita pacha sang gwali na mala again so you attracted us to join to learn and now teach okay実際にとただもしなみでもふにんがじなもささな成功しなとのどらもがあれ okay 実際とずぬてにコンピューユースラが네팔에 차티 모두 카에 दिना पं व्याप्या हो जाता वो किताबे दो से स्प्रिंग के थाउ उदाहरण दिएगा जिसान चाहिँ नि वो चाहिँ टोइलेट बनेको ने छराई का गोमेशन आशुदी do anybody know how to say I want to go to toilet in Nepal Bhasa बुकटान जना गुलसिया चाहिँ नि जी चाहिँ नि टोइलेट पनि उठाइयो म आफासिना ठोंकरे एड हेडंगला मेप्सा चाहिँ पाइखाना भनेको छवि भनेको थाइयो मलाई तर ठो शब्द मनुटे मय फोहर थे खनिसा तर जी छौ शब्द विकाउडुका त्यो ठो सफुटी दुकी पिठा भनेको बिस्दा न्यन त टिप्ला लठो नि होला
जुने म जुठो टेक्स्ट देने खेल जुठो
होला होला again आठो पिठा भनेको रिउला चाहिँ नि अपाच मगला अप्रिय मजुनी जिसमा के ट्विटर चलाइन गल्दाता जिसमा चले जो मला again theo खन चाहिँ नि जिसमा चाहिँ नि किताब दु यको शब्द दु चैटको तर जिगु चाहिँ नि मने डमो भनेको थोजो जिसमा
teaching at the social zone to get them to listen to theater.
Yeah, I think we learn like really like some really traditional old words. Like we learn pitakwata, and then we learned how to say newspaper, like bukhapong. So like we did learn old words which people do not use a lot these days.
Yeah, this is very important because our language is dying not because of anything else, but because we don't use it. It is very simple, right?
Okay, so I think yeah, it's over an hour, and I know like in Japan it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. So I think we can end the class here today. Suwarn, sorry if I know like it's too late for you, and you
yeah it is yes, it's going to be 12 and my family have gone to bed. Yes, I think we should say bye. But there's one thing I like to
so no other yoko goes to where she yoko e bedila she yoko goes to where
बिस्तारै छौ ख थन जी वने नेवालु मंके
तेरिस
सुदा जी पासा पिसं लाटन चोया चाहिँ नि नेपाली लिपि सेक्युलर आवश्यक ख मला तर वेक अप इन चाहिँ छौ सल्लाह गे दिराता वेक अप इन गु चाहिँ नि तो मोबाइल आईपैड टैबलेट नेपाल लिपि तेजी रुंगला मगला वो टल्की इमसा वेक अप पिसं मिटु है नेपाल लिपि सेकी ओके. If anybody interested in installing Nepal Lipi on your mobile, iPad, tablets, computers, you can find it. Just write Nepal Lipi installation. And if you have any problem, please don't shy to write to me.
Suwarn Vajracharya, 초 자주 정도 왜가 비싼데
그래서
타우테네 ल्यापटप에 बातेने मोबाइले नेपाली पे इंस्टॉलेशन दिउदु जो थो टेक्स्ट न फुल नेपाली पे ख उयो नेपाली पे वेक समुद्र सेक जोंदु वेक छजोन दिउदु सुबाय कोइगु वेक न्यू तेने ल्यापटप पे नेपाली पे दु वेकअप न्यू लैपटॉप पे मोबाइल नेपाल लिपि दु वेकअप इंस्टॉलेशन ताउ दु वेकअप नेपाल लिपि सेगा चों ख जो थो टेक्स्ट फुक्के नेपाल लिपि ख नेपाल लिपि छिनु नेपाल लिपि सेक्यु
ओके
नेपाल लिपि छिनु वेकअप जान बिबले न नेपाल लिपि जान बेदी के तेने छुए छुं समस्या मोर
ओके ऐसा जी ढाठा से मंटनी का यो सुरा गने जी हानो तनी नपला कम योला
सुवा
यो सुरा सर
यो गने
Goodbye.
So Sanda Sudachamezu.
Yes,
Hello.
Suwarn sir. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. So let me know if I can be of any help afterwards, because I think these friends, I'm very happy of their enthusiasm of learning Nepal Bhasha. Nepal Bhasha no sa Nepal Lipi no sa dablela. Please write to me in Nepal Lipi so we can do some exchanges. So that will help you to practice Nepal Lipi, Nepal Bhasha. Mohla.
You, Suwarn sir. Call.
Okay. Chikipisano Nepal Lipi chala Facebook e jita tani message choidisa. Ale jin disabi. Toward the jible. There's a place for you to practice your letters. Mohla.
Kayo subah naplay ka.
Okay, kasaka yoko
Ana napla suwa
kani ka jabul
kadodol pa
ba subha
Betul pa bhi bani ka sakasita.
Ini bahania kasaka ni